There is a classified spending authority called the black budget. It appears in no law you have ever read, and it has existed in its current form since 1949, funded every year without a public receipt, without a public vote, and without a disclosed total. Today you will understand something the people around you do not. Every year the United States Congress passes a budget. Line items, agencies, amounts, committees mark it up. Floor votes ratify it. It is, in theory, public. But nested inside the intelligence community's allocation is a figure that never appears in any public record. Not a rounded number, not an estimate, nothing. The total is classified. The programs that spend it are classified. The outcomes those programs produce are classified. Together, the Military Intelligence Program and the National Intelligence Program constitute what insiders call the black budget. The government confirms it exists. They will not tell you what is in it. They will not tell you what it costs. They have not been required to give that accounting to the public since the National Security Act of 1947. That act, passed in 1947, created the CIA. But Section 403 of that law did something most people never notice. It authorized the Director of Central Intelligence to protect intelligence sources and methods from unauthorized disclosure. That single phrase became a legal wall. It meant any spending tied to sources and methods could be withheld from public accounting. No floor debate required. No separate vote. The authority was embedded in a sentence, and the CIA used it immediately. 2 years later, Congress passed the Central Intelligence Agency Act of 1949, which formalized the arrangement. CIA funds could be concealed inside other agencies' budgets, drawn out by the director without itemized accounting to the public, and without disclosing what the money was for. The Government Accountability Office, the body that audits all other federal spending, was specifically prohibited from examining CIA expenditures. That prohibition was not an oversight. It was the architecture. Today that authority does not sit with the CIA alone. The black budget spans 17 intelligence agencies, the NSA, the DIA, the NRO, the NGA, and others most Americans cannot name. Since 2007, statute has required the aggregate total to be disclosed once a year, just the total. In 2023, that number was $98.7 billion. No breakdown, no line items, no receipts. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence controls what, if anything, is explained beyond that single figure. They are not required to explain anything further. They have not. Remember, no one voted for that arrangement. It was written into law before most of the people living under it were born, and it has been reauthorized quietly ever since. Here is where it touches you directly. The black budget funds programs that shape what information reaches the public, what technologies private companies develop, and what foreign governments do under American pressure. In 2013, Edward Snowden leaked a 52-page black budget summary, a document the government had never intended to exist outside classified channels. Inside were program names, capability goals, and budget figures for surveillance tools operating inside the United States. PRISM, Muscular. Programs collecting data on American citizens, funded by money those citizens were never told existed. The Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, a court that meets in secret, publishes no opinions, and hears arguments from only one side, approved those programs. Its approval rate for government surveillance requests in its first 20 years was 99.97%. And here is the part that should actually worry you. All of it is completely legal. Every program, every warrant, every dollar. The court was created by the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act of 1978. The budget that funds its targets operates under authority from 1949. You are inside its jurisdiction, and you had no say in its construction. The structural lock is this: the people with authority to repeal the black budget's legal foundation are the same people who receive classified briefings about what that budget funds. Members of the Senate Intelligence Committee and the House Intelligence Committee know, under oath-bound secrecy, what the programs are. They cannot disclose what they know. They can vote to defund something they cannot publicly name. They have no political mechanism to explain to constituents why a program should end, because they cannot describe what it does. The secrecy protects the spending. The spending justifies the secrecy. The loop has been closed for 75 years, and no election has opened it. What this reveals about every other institution is this: the public accounting you trust is a partial document. The budget you can read is not the full budget. The court opinions you can find are not all the opinions. The agencies listed in the Federal Register are not all the agencies. The oversight committees that are supposed to check executive power are themselves classified. Every transparency mechanism built into American government was designed alongside a parallel structure specifically constructed to exist outside it. That is not a flaw discovered after the fact. That is not a failure of implementation. It was the design from the opening session, and every administration since Truman has preserved it. So here is the question no one inside that structure will answer. If $98.7 billion can be spent with no receipt, and that has been true since before your parents were born, what exactly are the receipts you can read supposed to prove?